What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos. So, welcome to another jam-packed episode, an explosive, exciting episode of Take It to the Table. I am joined by none other than the regular guests of the show, Soul and Ignacio. How you doing today, fellas?
Very well done. It's hot as shit in Scotland right now for a change, so
Oh
I'm
my
enjoying
God,
that.
you um, as half the population perished because I know y'all can't handle heat.
Yes, they've all combusted.
Fair enough. They've all been Thanos. They just disappear into the ether because they
All right,
can't take it.
Get the Henry Hoovers out. We're cleaning up this shit now.
But yeah, we got a jam pack episode as always. We're gonna be delving into well, this is the weekend of SummerSlam. Well, as this recording is less than 12 hours away. Well, for us in the UK. So we're gonna give a little predictions as what matches we're looking forward to, as well as I know that last time it was pretty all over the place in terms of we got news about obviously Triple H being EVP of talent relations, and then a couple hours later Vince retired. So we didn't really get Ignacio's thoughts on that, on that kind of madness that's been happening, as well as more things that's been developing along the way. So obviously we're going to be talking about that a bit more in depth. Also, we're going to be talking about that certain main event that happened not this Wednesday but last Wednesday at Dynamite between Jericho and Eddie Kingston. I'm sure Ignacio's got his little two pennies regarding that. I'm sure.
Oh,
Or 5 pennies. I don't know how many pennies he's got. And then, of course, there's a special unboxing that Soul is about to going to unveil later this show. For those that haven't seen the interview with the AEW trading card company, it's currently uploaded on the Wrestling Republic's YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out. And they were very gracious enough to send him some nice little merch. So for the first time ever, he's gonna be unboxing that. So
please
yeah,
do
as
this
you can
first.
see,
I want to know what's in the fucking box.
I wonder what it could be. But in the words of course, Brad Pitt, the legendary scene.
What's in the box?
So yeah, we're gonna be looking into that for sure. So yeah,
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I didn't think you all knew about that.
Oh, come on, man. That's great, man. I'm a movie buff, man. I know all about that movie, man. Gotta love 6.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm joking, but yeah. Without further ado, let us take it to the table. And then, Butch. All right, cool.
Now I can see the fat going there. Jesus Christ, it's like a chicken.
Oh dear. All right, so yeah, we got a jam-packed episode. Where do we start? All right,
box. I want to know what's in the fucking box.
No, we're gonna torture you. We're gonna do that at some point. So yeah, you wait. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So let's just jump into what's happening tonight. Basically, SummerSlam, the third. Is it the third biggest pay-per-view of the year, or is it the fourth now? They've jumbled it.
Third, I would say.
There's Rumble, Mania, Money in the Bank now. Oh no, sorry, it is the third because Survivor Series is still the big four. So yeah, so it's the third one, third there. And it's up in the air. No one knows what's gonna, like. Obviously, I think before Vince retired, I'm pretty sure everyone was just like, this is a meh card. But now since there's all this, everything's up in the air. There's a slight more intrigue, if it's safe to say. Going by what's happened the past Raw and SmackDown, not much has changed, so to speak, for me anyway, in terms of content and how they're delivering it. But obviously, I'm pretty sure no one really thought it was going to be an overnight thing, that it's going to be TV 14, blood and guts, all that kind of shit. So what's your hype levels regarding SummerSlam, may I ask?
I don't care.
Ignacio?
That was provocative. I think for me the what makes it more interesting is it's going to be the first pay-per-view in 40 years or however long Vince McMahon was doing pay-per-view, 35 years or whatever. It's going to be the first one that he hasn't had his fingerprints on. So I don't think, I'm with you. I don't think as far as creative and things that they had planned, I don't think it's going to be much change up until SummerSlam, until after SummerSlam. I think maybe Raw after SummerSlam, which I'm going to be in attendance for. It's in Houston, Texas, so I'll be there.
Nice.
I don't think much is going to change until the coming weeks, up until the next pay-per-view, which is you're the Clash of the Titans, right? Or Clash of the Castle?
Yeah, Clash of the Castle. Yeah.
Yeah, so
We'll be there definitely.
I don't think much is going to change until leading up to there, and people are probably expecting all these drastic changes within a short period of time. I think slowly Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and I hear maybe even Paul Heyman might have some creative influence now. You're not going to be seeing that all at one time. It's going to be in snippets. It's going to be small changes at a time, to personnel, to creative. They have to evaluate all these writers and smart marks that are doing the writing for WWE TV and all the comedy writers, and they have to see who they want to keep, see who they want to let go, see what they can do creatively now that Vince McMahon isn't involved anymore. Maybe they have a ton of good fucking writers, and it's just Vince McMahon's been shitting on their creative and having them come up with hokey horse shit. But overall, you're not going to see any drastic changes until maybe the coming month, 2 months. I'll give it up until WrestleMania. Let's see what happens up until WrestleMania, and we'll see if Triple H and individuals under him really have influence over where the creative direction of the company is going to be going.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I said, prior before you answer, I say, yeah, it's not gonna be an overnight thing.
Yeah.
I think it'll be too much of a shock to the system. And who's to say that even though Vince has zero control of creative, obviously his yes men are still there.
Yeah.
And he might still have his fingerprints still dabbled in here and there anyway. You still got your Kevin Dunn, you still got your Bruce Pritchard. But obviously, there's been rumblings for a long time that Triple H hates Kevin Dunn. But at the same time,
I've never heard one person that actually said they like Kevin Dunn. Never.
Yeah.
Well, like kind of like Mick Foley and stuff. But Mick Foley hasn't said a bad thing about anybody. He's such a good guy. But
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
I've never heard anybody actually say that they actually like Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
So
hopefully I'm predicting by the end of the year, Kevin Dunn and Bruce Pritchard take their stocks and ride into the sunset. Until eventually they will see that there's no place for them really. So I'd say give it to the end of the year to see what happens, especially when they have a more full roster and then more people are coming back. I mean, I think true change will happen if you see Sasha Banks and Naomi come back. People like that, maybe Bray Wyatt come back. That's how they actually have more belief in the system. Things are changing, and that it's been a long time coming. For Vince to actually F off, pretty much. So going back to the SummerSlam card, there's currently right now there's 8 matches planned, no pre-show, no kickoff. For some reason, I got a feeling that the New Day is probably going to end up on the kickoff show with Viking Raiders, the way things have been going. But right now, there's no kickoff. The first match is Logan Paul versus The Miz. Saul, are you excited for this match? And who you got for this one?
Fuck! I'm going with Jeff Jarrett. I think Jeff Jarrett's going to win it. He'll do something. But
He's from Nashville. He's going to win everything. Yeah, for sure, definitely. Oh my god.
Pretty much.
Is that your final answer? Fair enough. Okay. Well, what about you, Ignacio? Who you got dibs for that one? Logan Paul versus
final answer.
I'm more interested on not who wins or loses or whatever, but I'm more interested, and this is kind of going to lead to what I'm going to talk about later on to see what Logan Paul can do. Everybody said, well, you don't like celebrities coming in and taking over the red. Well, number one, I don't mind somebody from the outside coming in as long as, number one, they're a legitimate athlete, which Logan Paul is. I mean, he's a boxer. He's a gimmick boxer, right? He's had a bunch of gimmick professional boxing matches, and maybe with some guys out of their prime like Floyd Mayweather, but he's still got some professional boxing experience, and he's an athlete, right? And his brother also. So, and then he seems like he actually takes the business seriously. We've seen him with photos and videos with him training at the Performance Center. And, he looks like an athlete. He can talk pretty well. Of course, he's YouTube and podcasts and all this good stuff. So I'm interested to see with now that Vince McMahon isn't in the reins anymore, what can he do as far as his promos. So I'm more interested to see how Logan Paul comes out of this than anything other than the match itself. I think he comes out with the win.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'll make sense for Logan Paul to win. The Miz doesn't need the win. It's about time he got his comeuppance. I mean, the promo leading up to it, like the one that happened on Monday, was absolutely horrendous. I didn't really. It made me like the way that the show started when they started with the brawl. I was just like, oh, this is pretty interesting. And then they had their own little segment later on, and it was just absolute cringe. Maurice looked like she literally just stepped out the shower.
I haven't
And
seen it yet, so.
Yeah, it's weird, and she's got this little handbag, and it's literally shaped of balls. It's really
I've
odd.
seen the picture of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's cringe, but yeah, I would say Logan Paul for the win. This would be a nice little, this would be his first impression. I mean, obviously he had the tag team match prior, but we haven't seen his full potential, and I think the Miz is a good dancing partner to show his potential. But yeah, definitely, I think Logan Paul's for the win. Second match of the night is Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm gonna go first for this one. My dibs is that Liv's gonna lose. The way things are going, I feel like she's definitely more of the underdog. She fits more like the person that's meant to be chasing for the title. But she will learn from this kind of thing. This situation, and the way things panned out from SmackDown kind of makes me believe that she is probably going to lose on her first defense. As long as they don't drop the ball. Go on.
Is this like a Nikki AHS situation where she won the title and then pretty much dropped it?
Absolutely. No, that one that was I don't know. I don't even know what that was, but I feel like when she does drop it, I feel like she will get it back. So I think that my dibs is that if she loses it here, she'll probably win the Royal Rumble and then challenge for it at WrestleMania. Then she has her WrestleMania moment. I think she needs to be another big person in the women's division if they're not able to get Sasha Banks or Naomi. God knows what they're doing with Bayley, but it's really thin right now. So the only way to do it is she had a little taste of it. She's not there yet. Ronda Rousey is an unstoppable person. Like, I don't think that Liv Morgan can really go toe to toe with a fully fit Ronda at this moment. So I think, if she loses it here, wins the Royal Rumble, that's a big thing. Win it back at Mania. I think that'll make sense. What about you, Saul? What's your prediction for this one?
I'm gonna go with Liv to retain.
Okay, fair enough. Are you enjoying this title reign so far?
No, I've not really cared for it, not watched it, but I just think Liv. I'd rather have Liv have a title than Ronda Rousey, who's just gonna bitch and moan and cry about
it. Fair play. What about you, Ignacio? Who's you got your money on?
Well, number one, I don't like how she got the title. I don't like the whole Money in the Bag concept to begin with, where you can cash in at any time during a match or any of that bullshit. So when it's like when they did the same thing. Not that I like Big E, but I mean it's like when they did the same thing with Big E. When Big E beat Bobby Lashley, it gave Bobby Lashley an out, and I understand what they were trying to do, but it made Big E look like shit. It's just like, this is the only way you're going to win the title, is if you cash in on somebody who's already had a long match, who's tired, who's weakened, come in, cash in, and win. And that's what they did. That's what they did with Liv. And I don't think they did her any favors. It doesn't make her look legitimate. I think Ronda Rousey, I think in the past couple of weeks, as far as her passion and her fire, she stepped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I still think her biggest problem is they need to put a mouthpiece with her. Because I think her promos are still lackluster and stale, and she's not confident when it comes to that. Liv Morgan overall, I don't think she's very confident. I think you still see her insecurities in the ring. She's a little bit too cautious, too careful, apprehensive. Like I said, they didn't do her any favors by making her win the title like this. She tries hard. She really does. She really looks like she works hard and she tries hard. So I like her, and I want to like her more. Is that they haven't really done a good job booking her very well, and I think in turn that's also destroying her confidence. So I think she would just benefit more from good booking, and maybe Triple H likes her, then maybe Triple H can help her out when it comes to that route. But I look for Ronda Rousey for the win. because I think she's got a little fire, a little bit of her passion back. I think they see that, and she takes the title. I have no doubt that probably Ronda Rousey will win, and she might even take the title to WrestleMania.
Yeah, that fits in pretty much there. I agree with that in terms of especially how she won it. She could only do it on a downed opponent, a very severely injured person. So I don't think she's been really tested. Liv Morgan, I mean, as to see if she can actually carry it. So I think that's why I think it will make sense. I'll be fine if she lost it here. She gains more momentum, more confidence, and become more seasoned, win something major like the Royal Rumble, and then go and get the big one. That's when she's ready. She had a taste of it. Then go for the big one. She's ready for it. So that's fair enough. Next match is Bobby Lashley versus Theory. So what's your prediction?
Lashley
to retain, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. Ignacio,
you can really tell I watched the product when I'm basically just them, point, improvement, I don't give a shit, 50-50. What am I
Jeff Jarrett.
That gives me that's fine. That gives me more time to smarten everybody up. So go ahead.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to open this now and wear it on my head and be Kip Sabian for the rest of the show.
No, don't, babe. No,
I'm opening the fucking box.
We will. I promise you.
You fucking better. You get by the end of the show and it's not being opened. I'm coming down south and absolutely slapping you silly.
What about you, Ignacio? What's your prediction for the Bobby Lashley versus Theory?
Bobby. I love Bobby Lashley. I just don't understand why they have him here in this spot and they don't have him in and around the world title picture. But yeah, I think it's Bobby Lashley, and I know Theory gave his intentions on cashing in tonight. I don't think he cashes in tonight. Maybe I get a little bit of my hell to myself, but I think the powers that be now there realize that it's not exactly Theory's time, and maybe Vince McMahon's intention was to make Theory champion now. But I think the powers that be say, hey, no, pump the brakes there. It's not your time yet. We'll hold off. But I think Lashley probably gets Lashley gets a clean win tonight.
Okay, fair enough. Me, I personally feel I'm going to go the opposite. I think that Theory is going to win. And he's going to try and cash in, but it's going to be a failed attempt. I think he's going to definitely try to do it, and he's going to fail it because even after this, and whatever happens at Clash of the Castle, now is not the time. So what? He's never going to be believable whenever he catches it in. So that's why I feel like you might as well get it off him. It's been a while since we had a failed cash in. When was the last one? Was it Baron Corbin?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's been a while, so yeah, I'm totally fine with him being the first person. As long as they don't, because when they did with Baron Corbin, in my opinion, they pretty much, that was character assassination right there. The way they did it was ridiculous. But with Theory, I think he can just about recover from it. So yeah, I think I say keep the title, because Lashley doesn't need the title. He doesn't need that US title. It doesn't help him one bit whatsoever. So I think give it back to Theory. Then whoever he tries to cash it in, he fails it. That's why I think if they would make sense and get it off, and that's be the end of it.
Yeah.
So what's next? Speaking of Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. That's what the card. Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, Happy Corbin's just been pretty much tormenting poor Pat McAfee. I think on SmackDown last night, he bought a ticket and he was in the crowd. He eventually jumped over the barricade and low blowed Pat McAfee. This goes against everything that WWE stand for in terms of be a star and anti-bullying, because this is a straight bullying storyline. It is absolute cringe. But yeah, what about you, Sol? I know you probably don't care about this, but yeah, who you got your dibs on?
Pat McAfee, obviously.
Yeah, I would say Pat McAfee for sure, definitely. Got to be a great match though. Pat, don't count on Pat McAfee.
No. Hey, I'm not counting Pat out. I just don't give a shit.
What about you, Ignacio?
Again, this is another person or match that's going to involve and Soul just alluded to it a little bit right now with his comment. It's Pat McAfee, I think, is going to take the victory. But, Baron Corbin, I think there's been a lot of hit and miss with him. I think there's some opportunities for him to really shine. And they gave him the King Rat gimmick and this Happy Corbin bullshit they gave him. And I think he's trying to, or they're at least steering away from the Happy Corbin bullshit since the last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I haven't seen last night's SmackDown, but I think they're kind of maybe trying to steer a little bit away from it and maybe slowly having Baron Corbin be Baron Corbin maybe a little bit. And maybe after SummerSlam, we'll see a character transition. But when he was playing that homeless down on his
that was
luck,
perfect. I loved it. That was most enjoyable. 100%.
That was good. But
I feel like they ended that too soon.
100%.
Yeah, well, I'll add on to that and say I think they really missed an opportunity for Corbin to become a good babyface.
Yes.
Because what I would have done at that time is I would have put Corbin with Roman and have Roman boss around Corbin and have Corbin be like his lackey and do his dirty work. And then you could have turned Corbin babyface by turning on Roman and yada, yada, yada. And, of course, they could have put a creative spin on it and Corbin could have been, a good babyface. But maybe that'll happen tonight in some form or fashion, or maybe they'll have better things up for Baron Corbin. But I think Pat McAfee takes the victory tonight because it's Pat McAfee, and that's kind of going to go on to what I'm going to talk about a little bit later on. But that's my prediction. It's going to be Pat McAfee.
Fair play. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we can all agree on that one. Next is the Mysterios versus the Judgment Day. Oh my God, and a no disqualification tag team match.
Lazy booking.
How the mighty have fallen. Well, I wouldn't say mighty, but how the Judgment Day have fallen. So much premise, so much promise. And yeah, they have fallen flat on their asses. No, this is the team that just I don't think they're Retribution levels, but it's not landing. It's not landing how they ended up. But what's your picks? And what's your thoughts of the Judgment Day? Because I remember you was a mark for them, Soul. So I mean, so what's your stance on them right now?
Hey, what fucking timeline are you remembering?
You used to love it. You said you loved the Judgment Day. Like
I thought they looked cool, yeah, and then they went to shit. So don't give me overhyped shit for the trash sports entertainer shit. Let me pick the winner of this match. I'm gonna roll a heads or tails. If it's heads, I'll pick Mysterios. If it's tails, I'll pick Judgment Day. All right, let's see here. Tails, Judgment Day.
Judgment Day. Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go wild in this one. I think the Judgment Day are gonna win due to Dominic Mysterio turning on Rey. Finally, we get the Rey and Dominic feud. I want it. I want it.
Watch Dominic come out with a lowrider next week on SmackDown and be like, "I am Eddie's son."
and it's got the custody papers, the briefcase that they fought over. Yeah, that'd be awesome. What about you, Ignacio? What you got?
Well, I was like Soul. I mean, I was really entertained or really enjoyed watching the Judgment Day and see what they were going to do with the character development there when they had Edge, and then they lost what made them relevant, and then there they go downhill. Fuck that. They definitely had some steam going because they had Rhea Ripley, who looks like and wrestles like a legitimate star. They had Damian Priest, who needs a little work on his promos, but I mean, I think he'll get there. But he has a voice. He looks big. He's strong. And then you had Edge, the veteran, there. And once they lost Edge, that's it. It was all downhill from there. But I think they pick up the win tonight. Just basically that they're going to continue the storyline because we've seen the vignettes on Monday Night Raw with assuming that it's going to be Edge and those eerie vignettes they've been putting on. So I think they continue the story because Edge is probably going to come back tonight or on Monday Night Raw and feud with Judgment Day.
Or if you're like the idiots on the internet who think it's Bray Wyatt.
I know, right?
It's spooky and there's castles and mansion. It's Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I remember the feuds that you had with Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle and the rated RKO. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely Bray Wyatt, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, I think definitely I say Dominic because the Mysterios picked up the win on Monday. yeah, they definitely picked them on Raw, so it makes sense for Judgment Day. They have to win this way, otherwise you're just killing them again, and then it becomes like retribution levels, I think. So yeah, that's fine. We can all agree on that. Next up is, I think this is probably the most focused match on the card because there's a lot on well, not on the line, but they make it out there's a lot on the line. The Usos versus the Street Profits for the tag team championships with JEFF, JARR, ETT, Jeff Jarrett serving as the guest referee. Who are your dibs on this one? So
Coin out again. Oh, it landed halfway in the middle, so nobody. I don't care.
What the fuck? How does that? Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna throw mine out there. I think that the Usos are going to lose the titles. I think so. Maybe, probably. I don't know. I hope it's clean. I don't want it to be some shenanigans, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that now we're starting to slowly see the decline of the bloodline. I think they've had more than long enough reign. As much as I love them. What the blood? What Usos?
Nah, mate. Bloodline's going to be the next NWO. They're going to get their own fucking pay-per-view at this point.
No, not pay-per-view, premium live event.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me, Mr. Technicality.
Welcome to WWE, the Bloodline, the premium line of whatever. It doesn't have a good ring to it. But anyway, yeah, I think that because they've had it for quite a while, so I think it wouldn't, by WWE standards, it will definitely, the Street Profits, we need to have a big moment. This will probably be it. And again, regarding what happened on SmackDown, it's kind of leading that way. It's more believable that it's more likely that it's going to be the Street Profits is going to win it off them. And then they might have that one final run before they take away Montez Ford, and then then he goes singles. But yeah, what about you, Ignacio? Who you got on that one?
I think Usos hold on to the title. I think we're going to see some shenanigans with Jeff Jarrett, because I think they wouldn't. It's hard to me to believe that they would just have Jeff Jarrett out for this role and not have him continue as an on-screen character. So I think in some form or fashion, this is going to be Jarrett's introduction into TV, into being an on-screen character of some sort, maybe a GM or commissioner or something like that. And I think we see the breakup of the Street Profits tonight. I think Montez Ford turns on Dawkins.
Oh, so you think Ford is going to be the heel?
Well, I'll take it back. I don't know if he's going to be heel or babyface, but I think that the Profits break up tonight.
I mean,
I think it's time. I think it's time for Montez Ford, because he's got some personality. He's not afraid to talk on the mic. If you let him do his own promos, his own feel into it, I think he can be a great promo. If he lets go a little bit of the whole flippy shit and doing spots for spot's sakes, because I think he is has the potential to be a good wrestler. I think he can be a great talent. I think he can be a great heel or babyface. He has a lot of potential.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, the split up between the Street Profits is definitely on the horizon for sure. As we've seen by the dirt sheets, that Montez Ford is definitely going to be the breakout star they're looking forward to. But saying that, Angela Dawkins, I think recently he stepped up his game. I think he must obviously, someone got to his ear and he said like, yo, if you don't step up, you're going to end up being like Tucker. You know what I mean? So I do feel like because Dawkins, he's good in the ring, and I think if they give him a chance, he could be his own thing as well. But obviously, they're gonna do the Ford versus Dawkins feud for a few months, and then one of them falters out. But we'll see what happens. Co-main event is, of course, Montez Ford's wife is gonna be facing Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair, if you don't know. I'm going to call it right now. I'm pretty sure everyone's safe to say this. Bianca Belair is going to retain.
Yeah.
Because he's probably like, just hurry up, man.
Wake me up when something interesting happens.
Oh, my God. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to move straight on for that one.
You know what? Whoa, hold on just a second. Second. I'm going to, not to delay you, but I'm going to change my prediction, because I think Becky Lynch, SummerSlam is kind of her event, at least for the past few years, because she beat Bianca last year in 26 seconds or something like that. If you remember Becky Lynch, where she became the man pretty much at SummerSlam 20, was it 19?
Yeah.
2018. So I
Something
think
like
this is SummerSlam's Becky's event. So I think she actually takes the win over Bianca tonight.
Oh wow.
And the whole wrestling fandom goes crazy.
Yeah. That's a big statement. But Becky
I'm
doesn't
not
need
saying
it
there's not.
though.
I'm not saying there's not going to be any shenanigans involved because at this point, if they're going to take the title off of Bianca, it's going to have some shenanigans involved. It's not going to be a clean win.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Becky needs it. I would rather the next person that takes the offer would be Bailey. I would love Bailey to be the next person. She beats Bianca beats Becky, and then Bailey makes a return tonight. I would love for that to happen. I would rather Bailey to be the next one. I don't want another Becky reign. She does not need it. We've had enough.
Yeah.
You know, the last reign, in my opinion, was a flop. Last reign was a flop. So I thought it was. It was dragging on too far. Too long, I should say. But fair enough. Okay, so you got Becky, we both got Bianca. Fair play. And of course, for the 12,000th time, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Last match, last time, last man standing for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Who you got your money on, Soul?
I said, wake me up when something interesting happens.
It's gonna be a barn burner. It's gonna be you know what it's gonna be. You know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be
big meaty man slapping meat. That's what I want.
So yeah, who you got, man?
Honestly, I'd probably rather watch December to Dismember at that point.
Oh, for fuck's sake! He's not gonna be all right, ladies and gentlemen. He's not gonna be happy until we unbox this thing. That's when he's gonna be his own end. Don't worry, we're at the tail end. So I'm gonna go on a limb and probably assume that he's gonna want Roman Reigns to win, even though he does not care for this match. And I would much rather see Roman Reigns retain. I don't want him to lose it. It's probably going to lose it. If he does win, he's going to lose that Clash of the Castle. Well, one of the titles anyway. Yeah. But yeah, what about you, Ignacio? Who you got money on?
Same thing, Roman. I mean, I've never really minded seeing Roman and Brock together, but I just think that they could have gone a different direction storyline wise, and they didn't. They chose not to. They chose to keep it the same. The only thing that's different is they interdicted Austin Theory into the whole deal with him that might be cashing in. But other than that, it's just a lot of the same. You know, it's the stale main event. And I know because they wanted to go with Randy Orton, he got injured. Riddle, they didn't have enough confidence in him to put him in this spot. You know, they did it earlier. So, Roman retains, and then, then we're off to Roman and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll take that.
What do you say?
They haven't got anyone else. They haven't got Cody. They haven't got anyone, so they have to go and give it Drew. And Drew's the hometown hero, even though he's Scottish, but
hometown hero, shut the fuck up.
No, I'm saying, but how WWE is obviously portraying it as if like he's like the hometown hero, but he's not. It's gonna be in Wales, and he's Scottish. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense.
But, like 16,000 years ago, all of it was Scotland, so technicality.
Oh my God. Okay, fair enough. Well, they need to explain that in commentary.
Michael Cole takes some bullshit like 16,000 BC. Drew McIntyre was just a speck of dust. Now he's here reclaiming the land for the Scottish. And Nicholas Sturgeon's gonna be the crown, like, yeah, Indie Ref 2, hashtag fuck yeah, boys.
Bird, yeah. Okay, why not? I'll be fine with that. Just explain it to us. That's all we need. So yeah, that is the card for SummerSlam tonight. Hopefully I put this out before, but otherwise it just makes this whole thing completely redundant. But yeah, we look forward to obviously see what's happening tonight. Yeah, with that, we've come to the end of the show, everybody. No, I'm joking. All right, cool. Now, moving swiftly on, yo, Soul.
What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Please, if you would clearly short. So, please, obviously, would you mind discussing or detailing how you ended up with this mysterious box?
Yeah, so last episode of the Soul Session, which has done very well, was me interviewing the creative product designer for Upper Deck, who do the AEW trading cards. And after we did that great episode, he was like, "Oh, what's your address?" And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna send like assassins to kill me or something like that?" And he's like, "Oh, no, send Joey something." So this arrived yesterday, So
hold on. Oh, there we go. Hold on.
Oh, wow,
you get the whole thing to yourself. One second. I'm just gonna move this out of the way. There you go.
Like, wow, whole thing to myself. This is fucking nice. I'm the star of the show. So yeah, that's the good point. I finally got my pay rise. I haven't been able to open it because the boss was like, no, save it for stream. So it's been sitting in the fucking corner of my room, looking at me like a fucking arsehole. And she's like, hey, you want to open the door? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. But finally, fucking have the chance. So let's get into it. And if this is a letter bomb, I'm dead.
Yep. Okay.
Watch me not be able to open it, and it'll be a fucking disaster.
Oh my god! Imagine.
Right, there we go. Fucking heavy duty tape. That's what we like to see. Right. Fucking hell. It's really, Jesus Christ, you Americans and your tape is like fucking heavy duty. Get in there. It might be Gwyneth Paltrow's head, so if it is, fucking hell, that's a good reference right there and a half.
Oh my god.
Aha! It is
Here
open.
we go.
Oh, okay. Mate, bubble wrap. That's all it is.
Boom!
Not cool. Totally lame.
Oh, so first thing we have.
For a
There's a
second, that
lanyard.
looks so weird. I was like, what is that? Look. Anyway, go on. Yeah.
Is a lanyard,
Okay.
and that's it.
Oh no.
I'm kidding. So this is the big thing in it. This is, oh wow, an AEW Upper Deck playmat.
No.
Okay.
Nice.
So I can't see obviously the screen. Who's on it?
There is Hikaru Shida, CM Punk, your boy,
Thing.
Jade Cargill, Jericho, Omega, Britt Baker, and Sting.
Hey, that's
Pretty
not
cool.
bad at all.
Yes, I like it. That's good.
Yeah, thank you very much, Upper Deck, and obviously, guys, check out the episode of the Soul Sessions. No bad at all.
Wait. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I was expecting like cards and shit. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah. So big shout out to Upper Deck for sure for sending that to Soul's Way. If anyone that hasn't seen the episode, be sure to check it out on Wrestling Republic's YouTube channel. Very enjoyable. Good insight on how they started up and everything like that. They, from what I saw, they've been around for quite a minute, like since the 80s, isn't it?
Yeah, they've been around early, like 80s, 90s, 2000s. They've done stuff with NFL, then Hockey League, Marvel, Blizzard, everything. God, this is cool. This is actually really fucking
Baseball.
decent.
Yeah, it was really insightful. Yeah, so yeah, like I say, everyone,
Upper Deck.
check that out. Upper Deck
And
episode.
now I'm going to be Kip Sabian.
Oh, and speaking of AEW, so yeah, obviously it's been a week past and we didn't get a chance to get Ignacio on the show because we really wanted to save this moment when he's on here. So yeah, a certain main event happened last week as of this recording, and it was they carefully worded this because they didn't want anyone to get confused with what happened before. It was a barbed wire everywhere death match between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. Honestly, Twitter had a field day with this for what I saw. And even when we was talking in the GC, the group chat, we all agreed as a whole that this probably not just the main event. I think that whole episode was it was everywhere, but the real eyesore was the main event itself. And I think we can all collectively agree that it didn't live up to expectations and it was very sloppy at points. Quite possibly one of the worst matches of the year, in my opinion. And there's been quite a few across all promotions. So I mean, let's start off light. So, what was your thoughts when you saw? Have you seen this match?
Of course, I watched it live, dude.
Oh yeah, okay.
I watched every AEW show live. I actually care for AEW, not like fucking shitty sports.
Fair enough. Okay.
But hey,
What's going
I'm
through
just
your
trying
head?
to find out what the full match card was first before, like, just talking about the show in general. What the fuck was
Okay.
the whole match card?
I'll try to look for you if I'm with you as well. If you don't get it, well, what was last week? It was a Fighter Fest, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's
Fire
Fire
Fest week 2.
Week 2. All right, here we go. Here we go. So there was Darby Allin versus Brody King,
Okay, that was good. I say that was actually good.
right? Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Athena versus Jade Cargill, Kara Hogan, and Layla Gray.
That wasn't so. I think Layla Gray and Chris Statlander were taken off that match, and it was only a 2-on-2 tag.
Right, got it. Fair enough. Varsity Blondes versus Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, and obviously we saw the return of Jungle Boy.
I enjoyed Jungle Boy's return, and fair enough there. Yeah.
And John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta versus Best Friends.
Yeah, that was fine. I liked that match a lot.
Okay, and of course the main event. So it was a mixed bag. Definitely that episode. Not memorable, but it was memorable for the wrong reasons.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I said, all eyes were mainly on the.
I'll just say it now. So I think this was worse than the Revolution match again with Kenny Omega and Moxley. You remember that one with the bad ending?
But that, I mean, the rest of the match was awesome. Just the ending destroyed it.
I know.
This one
a lot of people have the fucking heresy against that match for some reason, just because the ending was botched, which then was saved. So honestly, I think it was good. But ever since, I honestly think the moment that match went to shit was when Anna Jay came down and punched Ruby Soho and just turned heel out of nowhere. And then it was like, oh, Ray's down, the boys come down, and then Blackpool Combat Club come out, and it's all utter chaos. And then Sammy Guevara, who wasn't in the fucking cage, runs out the back.
Yes. And then obviously Ty Conti was having a lot of trouble opening the cage.
Yeah,
and then ultimately they just they're all, for some reason they didn't have oil, but it looked like they just had oil and just slid out through the cage. There was some fan footage of Jake Hager could not get out of the middle. He was just stuck. Chris Jericho broke his own nose by doing his own move. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Yeah, there was I think so Eddie Kingston had the chair and he did a code breaker, but the chair landed on him and he broke his nose. So that was fun. There was like all these chair shots with the chair, but it was so light. It was just like from Chris Jericho.
I honestly don't know if the match could have been saved if Eddie won it, because.
And that was even the worst crime. Jericho won. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's not like the way I said it to myself, like, oh, the way they could do this is like if Eddie turns heel on Blackpool Combat Club and then challenges Mox for the title at Grand Slam. But everyone loves Eddie. They're not going to let him turn heel. He's too loved.
Yeah.
Now we're getting Jericho versus Mox at this swamp in the ocean thing, whatever the hell it's called.
Quake in the lake.
That's what it's fucking.
It's not Bray Wyatt. And
Roman. But I have no problem seeing Jericho and Mox, because that on free TV as well. Fucking hell, that's a downer and a half. Hey, fucking well done. But I don't know. Like I think this week's Dynamite was a lot better. Like
100%,
way better. And I feel like I know I'm the AEW mark. I always love those company, and I fucking love all that shit. But yeah, this Dynamite was
it could be saved.
It could be saved after that main event. I was just like, even with Eddie like throwing him in the barbed wire thing afterwards, like as the wee little cheeky, hey, we got it. No, I hated Anna Jay turning heel, and then the Dark Order just like, all right, nothing then. What's negative? Like they've been coming out with -1 and all that. Like Anna Jay, right? What's she gonna do now? It's like he's gonna run up and do like their little thing, and then she's just gonna boot him in the face and then walk to the ring.
Probably to get maximum heat. I mean, yeah, they look like they're giving her the same Ty Conti treatment in terms of they're gonna try really hard to make her be disliked or be very heelish, and it's not really working. Like she's just there. It's not that people like her, people don't hate her. She's just there, and that's how I feel like with Ty Conti. But yeah, this Yeah, like I said, it was just it was a really bad episode. It was just I know it's every promotion has their off days, but this one it was just after so much hype.
Yeah,
I
feel like what limited it was because they had to do it as a reference to that Shark Week thing, that Discovery Shark Week, and have the cage sort of thing. Could that have hampered it a lot? But I was just really deflated after that match, and it's like saying it.
Oh, so you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm saying I've not been really disappointed by AEW this year at all, but that match definitely.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Definitely not one of the finest moments, and yes, it's something that obviously all the WWE marks are just going to latch on to and whatnot. But yeah, it was just very cringe and unfortunate. But yeah, we move on. But before we move on, Ignacio, what was your thoughts when you saw this main event? Your favorite boy, Chris Jericho, against Eddie Kingston.
Well, you all said it. I'm just going to put more emphasis on it. Is this whole match, this whole Dynamite was garbage. It was atrocious. It was embarrassing. This is, in my opinion, fuck that. It's fact. This is AEW's worst year, pay-per-view wise and TV wise. I mean, every time Jericho hits the screen, it's the most embarrassing moment in wrestling or sports entertainment or whatever. Everything, he has the Midas touch of shit. Everything he touches turns into a turd. I mean, it was awful. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating for everybody involved. I said it before. Everybody involved in this program should be excommunicated from the wrestling business because it circles around Jericho and what he wants to do. I don't know if Jericho has offensive or incriminating photos of Tony Khan doing something scandalous or something. I don't know what kind of power he has over the man. This is, if okay, you guys referenced the cage and Ruby Soho and you mentioned the guys just running through the middle. Number one, they weren't that high up. They could, if they were able to make it through the cage like the way they did, they could have made it through the way their cage and jumped down.
Yeah,
that was embarrassing. Ty Conte.
I hate shark cages. They suck. They absolutely. I hate shark cages. Sorry, go on.
Well, it's just they didn't do it right. That's why. If they would gone take their feelings out of the way and actually watch a Jim Cornette match in the 80s, he would show you how the shark cage gimmick can work. Anyway, if you're gonna unlock the cage, because WWE has done this before also. If you're gonna unlock something like a cage, make sure the person that's gonna unlock the cage knows how to work a key and the lock and can unlock the fucking cage.
I don't know how bad I don't know how she fucked that up.
Just don't assume that people can do things. Do a fucking quick run at it, or maybe they did and she just fucked it up. Ruby Soho was in control of the cage. Somebody that 140-pound woman, somebody can just knock her over with a feather, and that's exactly what fucking happened. This thing, it was awful. It was hard to watch. It was hot. I felt so bad for Eddie Kingston because he came out on Dynamite on Wednesday and he got the biggest pop of the night. He's still over, and Tony Khan still can't see that or doesn't want to do anything with him. Or
I will say right now, I'm going to say this: if Eddie Kingston is not in a title match at Grand Slam, it will be the most wasted opportunity of the year.
Dude, why not? Because it almost needs to happen. I mean, everywhere he goes, he gets the biggest pop, even after this bullshit. Him and MJF have survived Chris Jericho's massive turd touch. It's mind-boggling that people gravitate to this moron, this leech who's just leeching off of today's talent. I don't see the appeal on Jericho. I don't know why they have him in a title match. He's just fucking horrible and terrible. And people would recognize this and call for his immediate dismissal from AEW. Anyway, going back a little bit to Eddie Kingston, and I'll finish off, is that I agree with Soul. He needs to have a big match on pay-per-view. I'm not saying maybe it's his time to win the title, but I think it's at least, if anybody who's earned it, if you want to say if anybody's earned anything and who deserves anything, it's Eddie Kingston, because he's gone through all this and he's still coming out smelling like a rose. So if anybody deserves a big platform main event, it's Eddie Kingston.
I like to imagine though, Ignacio, that every time Jericho hears that, he's like this to your face, like hee.
He's just smiling at you. Fair enough. Yeah, that was everything. I agree with everything that you guys said, especially with Eddie Kingston being something top flight, especially at Grand Slam. It's just the writers on the wall right there. It's in New York. Do it right there. It would be awesome. But yeah, definitely this past not this week's episode, last week's episode was definitely one of their worst. But the main event is definitely their worst main event of the year so far, for sure. Okay, cool. Moving on, finalize on the final thing. So Ignacio, I believe you have something to say about who you think is the who could be the next larger than life star, who could be the next Hogan, next Austin type of thing. So yeah, please delve into that, please. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's just one thing that's missing today is that larger than life character or persona that led a generation or a time period. And everybody references back to Hogan because that's pretty much when it happened with Hogan.
Yeah.
Before that you had, everybody references to Hogan because that was the birth or when cable television was coming along. And
it was the most commercial.
It
was the most commercial, more mainstream.
Yes, because television and cable and the pay-per-view and all that, just like you said, the most mainstream. Because before that they had Bruno and Pedro Morales and then Buddy Rogers and all these guys, but in the territories and all this. But Hogan, from a worldwide or from a national platform, because it became more commercialized and more recognized, and he was on TV all the time. Vince McMahon gave him the platform to be that character. And then, wrestling came into its dark days, and then you got Austin, somebody believable, somebody everybody can believe in, somebody he's just like me. He's the common man, the common, kicking his boss's ass every week. That's what I want to do. That larger than life character that everybody wanted to be or idolize or could connect with. It went back to what Soul commented earlier. I don't give a shit about any of these guys. Well, that's the problem. Nobody gives a shit about any of the characters on TV anymore. And I think Bully Ray, he said it on Austin's podcast. He said the problem with a lot of characters today, or the problem with wrestling today, is the fans don't care enough about the people, the characters. We're more tuned into the athleticism and the violence. We don't care enough about the people, and that's what Hogan had. That's what Austin had. And then to bridge off of that, that's what Mick Foley had and Triple H and Undertaker. We cared about the characters. Every time we tuned in on Monday night, there was a connection between the fan and the character and the people on TV. And we don't have that. Then going on to the 2000s, if you want to say John Cena, because even John Cena has probably became more polarizing than anything else. He did lead a generation of young kids, preteens, and teens. He did lead a movement. So in that aspect, he did lead that generation of superstars, or not superstars, that generation of fans. He did leave a movement, an era. And then that was for 10 years or so. And since then, for the past 10, 12 years or so, we haven't had that person that everybody can get behind and make you believe that he is legitimate, he is real, that he is passionate about the business and can draw money. And I don't think it's going to be anybody specific. I can't tell you who it's going to be. I can give you some ideas on who it might be, but as far as who it's going to be, I really do think that person is going to be somebody like a Pat McAfee or like a Logan Paul, somebody who's accomplished something in another realm of entertainment, like podcasting, sports, or podcasting and sports, and then come into the wrestling business and dominate the wrestling business and become that larger than life character. It has to be somebody from different realms, because everybody is on YouTube or some streaming platform or listening to podcasts, and they can't get off their phones. They can't get off social media. So it's going to be somebody from that realm of sports or entertainment or both to come into the wrestling atmosphere and dominate the wrestling atmosphere and take on a fan base, not only of wrestling, but also from media and entertainment. And WWE is already showing that they're trying to go to that realm or aspect. They're trying to go to that route because of people like Logan Paul and Pat McAfee. It's not going to be anybody who they draw into the Performance Center. It's not going to be anybody from, the indie circuit. It's not going to be anybody from another company like AEW or Impact or anything. It's not going to be anybody who went to so-and-so's Dustin Rhodes or Cody Rhodes or Seth Rollins wrestling school or anything like that, or Tom Pritchard's wrestling school. It's going to be somebody from another form of entertainment who's going to garner the attention and lead the movement, the next big wrestling movement. And I don't have a problem with that, as long as they're fans, as long as they're serious about the business and training and get proper training. I don't have an issue with that. But my concern is that it has to happen now, and now is the best time with everything going on with the changes that are coming within WWE. And I think with the changes that are coming with WWE, I believe the product is going to get better. And in turn, AEW's product's going to get better. It has to. So I think now is the perfect time for that persona, that person to emerge, or for them to look out or go search for that personality or individual. That's my take on it, because of the way social media is, with the way the culture is, the way with smart fans are. That's who I think the next larger than life character is going to come from or be.
Fair enough.
So what you're saying is WWE are looking for someone with an internet fan base who is really popular on the internet and can get over with the crowd. What you're saying is we could see Mia Khalifa be a Raw Women's Champion someday?
Oh my God. Imagine.
Well, it has to be, what I'm saying is it has to be somebody with that fan base. It has to be somebody with that fan base who has that influence that comes from another aspect, like I said, podcasting, social media, sports, but they can also get over with the wrestling fans and earn their respect.
Hey, Chaos, that's what I'm saying. Chaos, do you think Mia Khalifa will get over with the fans?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially the 18 to 30-year-olds for sure. Definitely, she'll definitely get over or on top. Anyway, so I do see what you mean regarding what you're saying, Ignacio. I do. What you say definitely reminds me of under the old regime, the old guard. I remember there was rumblings where there was a time where there was no when Cena was at the door, and then there was all about everything was just focused on Reigns when the time when we had Roman Reigns down our throats. But he wasn't building any new stars. There was them rumblings where Vince didn't want to build any new stars because he was tired of them leaving the business. So obviously Hogan was in and out of the business. Obviously he was mainstream. He was doing all that stuff. Then he defected, came back. Austin retired early, due to obviously ongoing injuries. The Rock went Hollywood. Cena stayed there for a while. Then he went part-time. Then he went Hollywood. And now Roman Reigns likely prepping himself up to go to Hollywood. So he doesn't. He misses the days where people died by the business. That's why he loved the Undertaker so much. Undertaker didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Undertaker didn't go anywhere. Ric Flair didn't really go anywhere. Well, he went to TNA, but you know what I mean. I think Vince literally hates the fact that people don't die by the business. They leave before, they turn 50 or they die in the ring. Hence why we don't really have any more larger than life people. He just chooses his favorite toy and he sticks with it, and then get as much as they can. That's what he's trying to jumpstart theory. But now, since he's gone and we're under a new regime, there is a possibility that you never know. You might start seeing the next larger than life person. Me personally, I mean, obviously the closest is Roman Reigns right now. Do I see him leading, a culture, or have like a fan base like Cena or Hogan? It's not really. I don't see it yet. Maybe when he goes babyface and they do something right with him, that could happen. But yeah, I don't know. I think they get cold feet with it. They feel like as if as soon as you make it big or you have some traction to your name in WWE, they bugger off. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I think that's what they were. That's why they're a bit hesitant of doing this larger than life thing. If they from what you're saying.
I'm not saying it'll be like Logan Paul or Pat McAfee, but I think Logan Paul's a good example of who it could be. Not maybe not Logan Paul, but somebody like him, somebody similar. Maybe somebody like an Austin Theory, but I don't think it's Roman Reigns. I don't think it's Drew McIntyre. Like I said, I think it's somebody who dabbles in social media, podcasting, entertainment, so forth. Former NFL, NBA, whatever, basketball, baseball, football, whatever. Dabble in sports, podcasting, whatever. And it's like, well, I'm going to try my hand over here because they're a wrestling fan, or somebody is influencing them to try wrestling, and they go into that and then make wrestling their primary or full-time thing. And because they have that larger than life persona already in social media, or they're good at cutting promos and so forth. Like, for example, McAfee, because he was an entertainer and podcasting and he was in the NFL and so forth. He's already comfortable with that. They're going to be comfortable adjusting to the world of wrestling or sports entertainment. I think that's where the next superstar is going to come from, or where he's going to be heavily influenced, have heavy influence or marketed. And that's going to be the person to lead the movement. I don't know who it's going to be. They're probably not involved in the business right now, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think if you want me to, somebody like Logan Paul, but the only other person that I think right now in the wrestling business that can lead that larger than life, that movement, is very highly unlikely if MJF turns babyface.
Right. Yeah.
And that's it. That's the only person I can see that can do it. But I don't see that happening anytime, either AEW or WWE, anywhere in the near future. So I think it's going to be somebody who's not in the wrestling business now, but within the next maybe couple of years, as WWE starts seeking out next in line characters from other elements of entertainment, we're going to see them pop up probably within the next couple of years.
Yeah. Quickly, just before we wrap up, quick question. I know this was an article on the Wrestling Republic Instagram page. Do you guys feel like AEW has dropped the ball on the MJF storyline, or no?
No, they're taking their time.
You think they're taking the time? This is like literal long-term storytelling, you think?
There's two sides. I'll say this. I think it's either a long-term storyline that they're waiting to blow off at a pay-per-view, a big pay-per-view that AEW can control, so that's why they didn't do Forbidden Door, or MJF is really gone and that's it. He's just sitting out his contract.
Fair enough. I do feel like the CM Punk injury has definitely hampered this, whatever was meant to happen. Because, like I said, after he did that legendary promo, the only person that came out, well, it was two people, but CM Punk actually came down to the ramp along with the Young Bucks. He wouldn't just come out just for anything. So I feel like whatever that was meant to happen between them two, I think because of the injuries, definitely hampered it. So that maybe because of that, there's a slight delay. But let's talk about CM Punk actually coming back for All Out. So that'll be perfect. Yeah. So, what do you think, Ignacio? Do you think they dropped the ball? You think you know what they're doing? They know what they're doing.
Well, it's a fine line. They got to be careful because it's like, how am I supposed to miss you if you don't go away? But there is chance of them waiting just a little bit too long. But I think MJF also, he's just one of those guys that he's, like I've said it before, he's impervious to burial. Like, he can come back 6 months from now and get the biggest pop in the audience, right? And it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's long-term storytelling, like Solt said, and I don't think they can't wait too long. Yeah, if there is an issue with the contract, then Tony Khan needs to. If Tony Khan can throw money at all these people who I believe don't deserve it, like Adam Cole and Malachi Black, then he can throw the money at MJF and get him back.
Yeah.
So I believe that the MJF is under contract and we just don't know it, and it's just long-term storytelling. That's what I believe. I don't think Tony Khan. I do not believe that Tony Khan would let somebody like MJF go just like that. I really do think he has him signed to somewhat of a long-term deal, and it's just long-term storytelling.
Because nobody's patient now this day and age. They all want it here and now.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, no one's patient. Everyone's got the attention span of a flipping goldfish. So yeah, no,
And that's an insult to goldfishes.
Say again.
That's an insult to goldfish, mate. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Come at me, goldfish. Come at me, bro. Anyway, on that glorious note, we've come to the end of this episode. Thank you as always, Ignacio and Soul, for joining us on this this great episode. As always, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this episode. Goes a long way. Makes the boss let you know you enjoy the content, and of course, leave your thoughts in the comments as well of what you think of what we've discussed here. Also, follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Republic, and follow us at official_TITTT. And yeah, we also keep an eye out for the next episode of Let's Take It to WWE 2K22. I'm facing my man Soul here, and yeah, this is quite possibly one of the craziest matches in the series for sure. So yeah, you do not want to miss that one. Definitely not. But yeah, as always, I have been your host Chaos. This has been Taken to the Table. Until next time, guys. Peace.